Episode 84 of the Junto Podcast. Welcome back or welcome to the Junto Podcast. Always a pleasure to be with you. And that's right, it's the Together podcast. And Heather, it's been a couple of weeks. We've been traveling. Yep. We've done some other type of content. But as far as our podcast episodes, we were on that summer schedule, and now we're kind of back in. So how are you?
We had our 5K as well.
Huge.
So that, our annual 5K. Takes some stuff to do that there, but yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, great to be back, and that 5K is for the obviously our nephew, Staff Sergeant Darren Taylor Hoover, one of the 13 killed in Kabul. So yeah, lots going on in terms of other media and work that we do through the Together podcast. But yeah, we're back, excited to get back into the episodes where we discuss life, all things life. Unity, community leadership, all those things typically through a perspective of faith. And Heather, based on the poll that we recently put out, what are we talking about today and why are we talking about it?
We are talking about marriage issues today. The most common. We're going to do 15. We're going to go from 15 down to 1. We're going to try to get to 1. We may not. We'll see how long it takes us. We may end up having a bash between me and you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, prepare yourselves. We always say we're going to get real on here, and so today's going to be no different. Yeah. But yeah.
Won't throw any blows?
No blows, at least not on camera.
No physical blows?
Yeah, no physical blows. Just verbal jabs more than likely.
Probably. No, we'll try not to.
Yeah. Crazy stuff going on in the world, and we kind of put out on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week or so ago, just kind of, it was like a multiple choice things. What are you guys interested in terms of content? And one of the topics was marriage or relationship type of conversations. And so that's what has inspired the conversation today. We're going to look at 15, as Heather mentioned, 15 marriage issues. And let's just be honest, marriage is hard, and we all got marriage issues.
Issues. We have issues.
We have issues.
No, we do.
And issues.
Right. And not only, I think this can be, even if you're not married, I think this can be relative in any type of relationship. Some of these are very common relationship type issues. Anytime two people come together, hey, there's going to be some, differences and dislikes, and you get to know people. You stick around long enough, you're going to figure out the things that you like about them and definitely the things that you don't like about them. So
well, and the crazy thing is we're in a relationship, but we're still individuals, right? Like time goes on, you change, your spouse begins to change, or your significant other if you're in a long-term relationship. So those are things that you have to navigate outside of the relationship itself. And some of those are like kids. If kids are involved, that's a whole nother thing that you have to navigate because you're dealing with the mom side of your woman, and you're looking for the wife side of your woman sometimes. But that's a whole nother topic for another podcast.
You've been wanting to dig into that one.
Oh yeah, we got to dig into that one. We got to, but not on episode 84.
Not today.
Not today. But without further ado, let's jump right in. I know these are going to take a little bit of time.
Right.
And I'll let you take the first one. This is from marriage.com?
Yes, marriage.com. So typical common issues, okay? Nothing too crazy here.
Yeah.
Number 15, trust issues.
Trust issues.
This common marriage trouble can rot your marriage from the inside, leaving no chance of restoring your relationship. The idea of trust in a marriage is still very conventional and at times puts too much strain on a marriage when the doubt starts to seep into a relationship.
Wow. Yeah.
I can attest to this, especially early on. I would say even as we were dating, probably the most trust issues we had were probably dating and then early marriage. We're super young. Still thinking we look good. We were all that. I don't know. But just the trust, I got a guy who likes to talk to any and everybody. Yeah.
By the way, I didn't think I looked good back then. I was definitely a late bloomer.
Okay.
I think I came into myself late, but yeah,
He
trust
looks better
issues.
now than he did then.
No, I'm getting old now, but
Better with
so it's
age,
like
like a
that
fine
roller
wine.
coaster is like, boy, it happens
Up
quick.
and down, up and down.
But yeah, trust issues. You were saying we had them early
Yeah,
on.
I think so. I think a lot of the time we were still finding ourselves at that point. So any and everything that seemingly looked like maybe one of us was flirting or kind of having some other wants or desires, or just the thought of you or me wanting someone else.
How
it's
could
pretty
that
prevalent. Yeah.
How could
It's
that be?
wild that you would ever think I would want someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Well, and it's easy to get caught up in the jealousy and
Yeah.
stuff. I would say early on, I was especially while we were dating, I
Mm-hmm.
was probably pretty jealous. And so, yeah, I can see how trust issues
Mm-hmm.
can be a thing. So if you're in a marriage right now, I would say, talk those things out. And we want to offer some solutions too. I'm not even going to read what the solution on
Yeah,
here
we'll
is.
give our own solutions.
But I would say, just in terms of a solution, learn how to communicate with your spouse.
Communication.
If you are the one that feels like you've been wronged in some kind of way, definitely learn how to speak up and confront. I know confrontation is hard, and like facing that, because sometimes, let's be honest, we don't want to know the truth. You're afraid if like I find out, or what, could be a number of things, but whatever the reason is, confrontation is hard. And I don't mean that from a like fighting standpoint. I just mean
bringing it up,
bringing
talking
it
about
up, learning how to talk about it. Absolutely.
Yeah. I also think that sometimes time is the best solution. Like, we're going on how many years of marriage plus the years of dating? What are we at? 22, 23?
Yeah, one of those.
Of
22,
marriage?
I think.
22 of
It will be
marriage,
22
and then
this year.
4 of dating. So
Yeah.
we've known each other for a long time. We know each other's ways. We know how we do things and the ways most things we know. We're still discovering new things every day.
Yeah.
No, we are.
Yeah.
But
No, what she's saying is you're over it already. Like there's nothing left to
no.
discover.
I
It's
still
over.
discover new things about you. I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do think that time is your friend with something like this because, like I said, we've had trust issues. We've dealt with things in the past. We have not had peachy keen marriage. There's
No.
been things that have crept in. Of course, Satan doesn't like a good thing. And
that's right.
the best place to attack is the family unit because, hey, if you can get mom and dad, you can get kids, you can get everyone else. So all that to say, you can't just expect to trust someone automatically. Say, I fell in love. Like, trust is always going to be there. No, it's something that you have to work on.
It really is.
And time will tell. I know you've heard that, but time does tell. And track records and just, of course, keeping God in the center.
That's the main thing right there.
Man,
Yeah.
without God in the center of a relationship, it's just like, what are you even doing?
Yeah. It's hard enough with, building your family around faith in God and all of those things. But it's almost like, man, and a lot of people don't give themselves that time. That's
They
the
don't.
thing.
That's
The
what I was
relationship-
getting to.
Relationships end, and it ends in divorce because people don't want to give themselves that time. Or I believe there are legitimate cases or grounds for divorce, but most of the
Of
time,
course.
it's like people are just, I'm tired of, I don't want to give.
Right. It's like a new pair of shoes. Those hurt my feet, so I'm not
Right.
going to take the time and break them in, get them nice and good and comfortable. Like, I'm just going to, toss them and get a new pair.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
Would you-
disposable, the disposable mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you toss me like a pair of shoes?
I would
And
not.
We have a visitor, Bruno.
How did we allow
you got to
this?
get out of here, dude. You got to go, bro.
Brune, you got to go, bud.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's funny. All right. That was number 15.
Yes.
Moving right along. And I'll say this. I think a lot of these are going to be built on top of the other. So
Yeah.
number 14, technology and social media.
gosh.
Technology and social media, which
Yep.
is crazy. The emerging dangers of social media on marriage and family are imminent. Listen to this. With a rapid increase in our interaction and obsession with technology and social platforms, we are moving further away from healthy face-to-face communication. We are losing ourselves in a virtual world. And I say we have dealt with this. This is still kind of something that we struggle with. And it's not always even social media. It's just that it's hard to quit working when you have jobs like ours because you get it done when you can get it done. So technology in general or things of that nature, it's like that's one of the things that can easily interfere with a relationship.
Oh, big time. And you don't even realize until you're like so far in. I know sometimes we get into that and we're not necessarily scrolling, doing the Facebook thing, doing the Instagram thing. But like you said, we both do a lot of our work. We're media people. So a lot of our work is on our phones, technology, our laptops, whatever. And so sometimes it's hard, even when you get home, to turn that off because you're like, oh, let me get this done and then we'll go do this. Let me get this done and then we can do that. Or, we're putting things on the back burner, our time together, our connection, whether it's physical or just talking, our end of the day conversations that we need to have just to connect or whatever. You're like, oh, yep. And you're half listening to your significant other and your kids too. I do it to my kids too. They're like, Mom, you want to go outside? Mom, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm like, okay, I'm coming. Like, let me do this real quick. Or like we end up going outside and then I bring my phone with me. I was like, let me do some work while I'm sitting here with you outside. That's not connection. That's not full connection.
And if we're being transparent, if I'm being transparent, I feel like that's probably one of the things that we still struggle with. I would say this too. For me, it's a whole lot easier for me to turn things off. Like when I'm home, typically, unless I got schoolwork to do, because I am working on my master's in communication, no less, by the way. So it's fitting. So we're legit, okay? What we do and why we do with the podcast, it's legit. We got degrees. But seriously, it's one of the things I can turn it off. And once I'm home, typically I'm home. Heather, on the other hand, it's a little bit harder.
Where's this going?
It's harder for you to turn it off. And sometimes it's like, hello, you know what I mean? It's like time to chill, time to relax, maybe time just to have those conversations, talk, hang out with the kids, and you're hard pressed in the zone, in that technology zone.
Can I say something?
Yes, please do.
Can I just have some excuses?
Here we go. Y'all remember we said we were gonna go at it? No, I'm kidding.
So I do homeschool and teach our children. They do go to Victory Classical School, which is a tutorial that our church is offering right now. Sure. And I am one of the teachers. So Monday through Friday, I do have my two littles. They're with me. They do work. They see me do life. They see me interacting with people, at church, on the job. Take them with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. We do school. We got their schoolwork. They're learning, teaching right along with me. And so I don't always have those moments where I can use this to do my other work, which for the church, also things for the memorial, for the podcast. And so sometimes I feel like this is my justification, and I know that I need to do better, and I do.
Here's a justification, guys.
No,
here it comes.
No. Not justification. It's not justified. Maybe this is just my brain and why it happens more often than it should. I'm like, okay, I'm here. Let me do this real quick. Let me make this post for the church, for the young adults. Let me make this post while I'm sitting here with my loved ones. We're in the same vicinity. But I'm not exactly like connecting with y'all or talking to you. And I guess you're saying that I'm emotionally not there in the moment.
Yes, or mentally, or...
Yeah, that's what I meant. Mentally, yes. Physically I'm there. Mentally I'm somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's understandable. I mean, let's be honest. I got emails and stuff I could answer, and even like you said, working on the podcast stuff or doing graphic design for the church, whatever it is, like there's always something that needs to be done. So I get it.
There always is something.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Yes. Like there's always something that needs to be done. I think if we could offer any type of solution, and this is like something we're still working through too, just because the nature of our jobs. I know like the nature of your work can dictate this a little bit, but sometimes you just have to get things done when you can get it done. So we're actually looking in to ways. We talked about, I heard you say one time, like just putting your phones away in a separate room or something for like 3 or 4 hours or
Just leave 'em.
whatever the designated period of time
Right.
is.
Don't check a voicemail. Don't check any calls, messages. That's hard to do in our
It's
time
super
and age
hard to
these
do.
days. When everybody, like their phone, it almost becomes your identity. Like, oh, my information is on this thing. Like you have to have it by your person always.
You know,
it's just not good.
Well, we talked about the tech aspect, but this has tech and social media. That's another thing right there.
Another thing is social media.
Like if you're, I don't know, it's so easy to see things. It's so easy to be pulled in.
Get connected with other people.
Get connected
and not
with other
connecting
people.
with your spouse or significant other at all.
Yeah, even follow celebrities or just anything. And then what you're viewing, and then it's like
images that you see.
that's a whole nother trap, dude. You start
Yes, it
comparing your
is.
spouse or comparing
Ooh,
things to your spouse. Maybe you start losing connection to
compare
your
me
spouse. I
when you
don't
see
compare
things?
you. There's no comparison,
Others.
baby.
Lots of images are AI.
Lots.
Don't forget that.
But lots aren't. And I'm just saying, no, I'm just but they are AI. But I'm just saying, like it's super. You don't even have to try to get sucked
You
in
don't.
to the
You
whole.
really
It's
don't.
like going to automatically
They're trying
happen.
to just know. They're automatically trying
They
to
know
get
your
you sucked in.
algorithms by this point. They know what you like. They know what you click on. So they're going to keep feeding you all of
The
those
things that you like.
and it's going to suck you in.
I cannot imagine in our early stages of dating us having social media.
Oh, there's no way. There's
we would
no way.
stay not trusting each other. Just, I don't know. I just can't imagine.
Yeah, so that's another thing. I mean, think
Jeez.
about that. Audit your relationship right now, and if you're constantly having to be like, are you on your phone? Why are you on your phone
You
so
wake
much?
up and get on your phone. As you go to bed, you get on your phone. Are you talking to your spouse or missing that significant time either with your kids, your spouse, Lord, 100%, first of all,
Yeah,
time with God, prayer. Like,
Amen.
what is this making you miss out on? Everybody's different. Audit your life, audit your time. You can even, your phone will audit your screen
it'll tell
time.
you. You know what? And maybe this has been a problem for you, but you just hadn't even been able to speak up about it. Maybe it's something that bothers you that your spouse is on. Because I see memes. I see, something about where, like, this is what I do when my husband's laying in bed and I keep scrolling till 2 a.m. Like, I don't think that's a healthy thing.
No, it
like, really, why would you want to? I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
It would probably bother me if I'm being honest. Not that there's necessarily that you're doing anything wrong. I just think that it can be unhealthy or open the door to maybe unhealthy patterns that could ultimately cause issues in your relationship. So,
and we got them too. Everybody's got them.
oh God, yeah. That's why we're talking about this
that's
stuff.
what we're talking about. We got to work on it.
Yeah,
All right, number 13.
Number 13.
Lack of appreciation.
that's a big one.
A lack of gratitude, recognition, and acknowledgement of your spouse's contribution to your relationship. Your inability to appreciate your spouse can be detrimental to your relationship.
Wow, that's huge. Gosh.
Do you feel like I'm ungrateful?
No. No. I know you're not ungrateful. I think the problem is, most spouses most of the time are grateful. I think the problem is we don't communicate that with others, or we don't show it. And that's where it can be a little bit, it's like, even if you think it and like, oh God, my husband or my wife, they're the best. They really take care of me. If you never let the other one know that that's how you feel, it can become a little bit a place of like, there can be some bitterness,
Some resentment.
some resentment that begins to boil up because you're like, I do all this crap and, don't give a crap.
Yeah.
They don't even care, man.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before. We even
more
said,
than likely, yeah.
I remember we even said, if you think something like that positive, you need to just say it. Yes, you need to say it. The answer is yes. Say it. Tell them.
Right.
Do it. Do it in that moment. Don't wait because you won't do it later. You just won't.
Which is easier said than done.
Send a text. If you're thinking it and y'all are, he's at work, she's at work, y'all are, someone's at the grocery store, whatever, send a text.
Yeah.
I don't know. Leave a little Post-it note. Be creative.
Right.
You know y'all are creative. You just got to get
Exactly.
those creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way. If you go out of your way and your spouse knows that you are going out of your way to do something and make a point to show appreciation, show love.
Show love.
Do it. Just do it. It's going to go a long way. It really will.
Yeah.
It
I think
helps
so.
it helps the spirit. It'll help the trust issues that we talked about, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Appreciation, it goes a long way. It's like just because you're married, it doesn't mean things have to be just automatic. Well,
You
that's what they're
automatically
supposed to
know
do.
I
That's
love
what they're
you.
supposed to do. Yeah, and it doesn't mean that,
Yeah.
yeah, they should just automatically know. No, man, you got to tell. You
Mm-hmm.
got to show. You got to do something that is going to demonstrate your gratitude and make them feel good. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And not just lip service though, not just saying the words.
right.
It's like an apology or something. I'm sorry when you're not, you don't really mean it.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though. I'll add this and we'll move on to the next one. You have to do it in the way that they like to receive it. Like if you're really thankful, do it the way. This is why we talk about love languages. Let's say, for instance, you're like, well, I did this and I thought you would know by me doing that means I'm thankful. No, you got to do it the way they receive affection, the way they receive love, because if not, there's a potential for that message not to get through.
Yeah,
Does
because
that make
it's
sense?
like speaking another language.
Exactly.
Love languages are like that as well. If they don't
Right.
receive the message, they don't receive the message.
Yeah.
Like if they can't understand like why you're doing something, like that's not the way that they receive
Exactly.
love and understand it. So
It's like, that's great, but that really doesn't convey
that's
what.
good. That's what you like to
Right.
receive it. That's not how I like to
Exactly.
receive it.
Exactly.
Makes
All
sense
right.
to me.
Yeah. So like we
Yeah.
got some solutions here. All right.
Hope so.
Number 12. What's number 12?
Financial issues.
Big one.
Nothing can break a marriage faster than money. Gosh, it's essential to discuss any financial issues as a couple openly.
Openly, guys.
Secretive stuff, that'll kill trust
Oh my
so
gosh.
quick.
Secret bank accounts,
You
credit
know.
cards. You got your own credit card, you're racking up debt, and
Yeah.
the other partner doesn't even know it.
And they're just out of left field shocked because they're like, wait, what? We owe this for like, what did you do? You
Exactly.
spent money on this for like what? Like, just be open.
I mean, like
Communicate.
big purchases,
Mm-hmm.
it's like anybody else watch. You remember Sydney got us into this whole 90-day fiance thing. We were watching this, and one of the couples there, they were actually talking to a lawyer, and he found out that his spouse had like over $100,000 in debt.
And it was, education.
It was student loans, but still, nonetheless, it was like a big shock, and that just comes to mind when we're talking about this debt.
He was
here,
like,
secret
"You
debt."
what?
He was like, "What?"
He's like, I'm not paying that.
And you're sitting here telling me I'm bad with managing money and this and that.
Oh
And
yeah, lots of arguments start or happen around money.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately.
I believe it used to be the number one, at least in the top 5 reasons
definitely.
to get divorced.
Definitely.
I mean, it's
because
just
a lot of people just aren't good with managing money. So if you don't have a budget, then you're basically planning to fail or planning to bust that budget. Why do I feel like I'm getting death stares?
some people
really?
aren't good with managing money, huh?
I
Lord.
can manage when I have the money. I can manage.
Oh
it,
yeah,
okay?
you managed to spend it. No, I'm just kidding.
on bills.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
maybe
Yeah. Things that have to be
a
paid.
little Amazon here and there. No, I do that too, though.
No.
I'm pretty bad about a little Amazon package. So, all right, we know finances are a big thing.
Yes,
Get your
budget.
life in order.
Hey,
Budget,
communicate,
communicate.
and make a budget. Make a plan.
No big purchases without the other's input. My gosh, don't go buying a
It's
new
just
vehicle.
disrespectful, honestly.
Yeah,
It
you want
really
a
is.
toy, a boat. You know how guys get new hunting
Yeah.
gear. Come on, talk to your spouse.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
all right.
Good.
Number 11, lack of attention. My gosh. This is a big one. Lack of attention. Even though there are some spouses that are like, I don't even want to be around it, but lack of attention. Humans are social creatures and are avid seekers of attention from others, especially those closest to them. Every marriage over time suffers a common relationship problem, lack of attention. And that's where a couple intentionally or unintentionally redirects their attention to other aspects of their lives. Listen to this last little line I'll read here. Lack of attention changes the chemistry of marriage, which instigates one or the spouse to act out and overreact. changes the chemistry of the marriage, lack of attention. So
wow. I think this goes back to even like the social media. That's
100%.
lack of attention. You're giving everybody in the used to be MySpace world when we were younger, but Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I cannot even focus with TikTok. Like I've gotten on it before, and you can't even close it out. It's just continuous. It stresses me. Does it stress anybody else?
It's a different thing. I'm not a good TikToker. Like I've tried to make TikToks. I can't do it.
And you wonder why our kids today can't focus and pay attention.
Yeah.
And they love TikTok because it's just constant, nonstop craziness.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And, I don't know. It's for some people like it. But anyway, lack of attention, yes.
That's
that goes
big
back
one.
to the prioritizing of our significant others and relationships in our lives. What are you prioritizing?
Yeah.
What are you giving your attention to? Hey, people know, humans know. If your attention is elsewhere, kids know.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. My
It's
goodness.
apparent.
You can't hide it.
No, you can't. So as far as that goes, solution, prioritize.
Prioritize. That's right.
What is most important right now in the moment? What should your attention be focused on?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Kids aren't going to be young forever. Our spouses aren't going to be around forever. The blessed ones grow old together and have time, but we're not promised tomorrow.
That's right.
Who knows? We're not promised any second.
Yeah.
So you got to prioritize it.
Before
it's too late.
And that brings us on to number 10. I'm not going to expound on that one because it kind of builds on what we've already said. But
It does.
number 10 is communication problems. We've already kind of discussed that in all of these. Learn how to communicate, man. You have to learn how to communicate with your spouse. And I'm going to move quickly through a couple of these just for sake of time. But number 9 was trying to change each other. This common relationship problem occurs when couples overstep their partner's boundaries to mold their beliefs. I don't know, trying to change each other. I don't think that's something that we've necessarily
Maybe
done.
in little things, not the overall chemical makeup, I don't think, or how someone is personality. Maybe the little things of, pick up your dirty laundry, or
yeah. But
don't leave food out on the counter. All the things.
All the things.
All the
Maybe
really.
we have tried to change each other now that we are digging deep into this.
No, to me, those are the non-essentials.
Yeah.
I feel like, hey, if someone's cheating or constantly doing something that's detrimental, then I think that is a different situation. Not as changing someone, but maybe there are habits and behavioral issues.
Yeah.
That are a heart issue, and
Amen.
maybe the heart needs to change. Maybe that's something that would be necessary.
That's a Jesus issue.
It is. It is. And maybe all of these are really
For sure.
heart issues.
100%.
really
Well,
are.
I like that. And number 8, we've kind of already talked about that, but that's jealousy. It's a marriage problem. It can go sour real quick. If there's a jealous, typically my belief with jealousy is like, if there's jealousy there, then there's a bigger problem. Typically, like there's an underlying problem that maybe you should speak to, like maybe trust issues, or maybe, not knowing how to communicate with your wife, or maybe it's even feelings of guilt. It could be other things that you've done, which is causing you to form jealousy about so that's a pretty big one, just in terms of, I don't know, spouses, but I would say that it kind of goes back to that communicating with your spouse and trying to develop that trust. And guys, a lot of this is so much easier when you begin to pray and build your relationship on Jesus. I mean, I'm just reading these and going, it really takes.
We've talked about this before too, is that there's a righteous jealousy. There is because God is a jealous God, and when our attentions and our affections are focused elsewhere, then he is jealous for our attentions. The same way we've talked about marriage, spouses being jealous. A righteous jealousy, meaning like if your attentions are on another woman, emotionally, physically, whatever, I think it's only right for me to say, hey, let's turn this around. Something's not right. Let's pull back a little bit and see what's going on here.
Yeah.
I think that's a different type of jealousy. But when one is overly jealous and there's no indication or reason, then there's an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And that's beautifully said. So we'll leave that right there. Said. And we'll see what number 7 is. Boredom. Boredom is a severe but underrated material problem. With some time, spouses become bored with their relationship. They may get tired of the things that occur within the relationship. In this situation, it comes down to being bored with the relationship because it has become predictable. Spice it up. Switch things up. Gosh, I don't know. It's
move the furniture around.
Yeah, move the furniture around. Change your hair color. I don't know.
Oh, gosh. Like I said earlier, you do have to be creative, and it is work. Marriage is work. Any relationship is work. You have to put into it some time. I'm not saying that you have to have, this creative date night every Friday night, or things are just going to, I think there's realistic expectations, and then there's unrealistic expectations.
Exactly.
Marriage, yes, of course. Any relationship is going to reach a point where it's like, we do this every day, day in and day out. But come on.
But there's also, to me, that's almost like a lack of maturity. I find it funny when you see these younger couples and they've been married, 6-7 years, and they're like, "Oh, this is what we keep it fresh every Friday," and that's cute or whatever. But it's almost too like, okay, you come to a realization where you understand that marriage is not always about just like entertaining me. Like
fun.
You're right. There is a
happy.
Exactly. It's a commitment. It's a covenant before God and to each other. And so, yes, fun is part of that equation. But when you come on, there just comes a times where you have to mature in faith, and whether you're dating or not, there are seasons where you might not get a date in. We've been in that predicament just with children, teenagers, and then littles, and then obligations. It's like, come on. So that's cute, and those are cute sentiments that they put on there. Like, we do this every Friday. And I'm like, okay, good try or whatever. And I'm not knocking that per se, but I guess we're just at a different place, another level, if you will.
I think that there comes a time where it's a good thing to have comfort and predictability in a relationship and a marriage. Because think about it, if I'm constantly, I got to spice this up. I got to
right. That's how tiring.
I have to make sure, there's a comfort in us knowing, hey, we can go sit on the dang couch and relax, and we're good.
We good, man.
We can watch a movie. Good. We can hang. There's nights we have our own date nights here at the house.
We do, because
so it doesn't always have to be a huge ordeal planned for 10 months situation.
Exactly.
That's tiring to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of am liking the season of comfortability and predictability.
Amen.
Because it's not always, you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you like to know what's going to happen. It's cool.
Very well.
Yeah.
We'll end it right there. That was amazing on that. I agree. So a new way to look at comfort and predictability. I think it's very relevant. So number 6, just for the sake of time, we're going to fly through these next ones. Number 6 was stress. Come on, that's a no-brainer. We know that can
has stressful seasons.
Absolutely. Number 5 was traumatic situations. Those are crazy. Death of a parent.
Things.
We've both lost a parent. You lost your mom. I've lost my dad. They can be traumatic, life-changing. I think for us, though, it had the opposite effect. I think it made us closer together, and instead of now, obviously, I could see how there might be some events that happen, tragic events that could cause separation. But for us, what we've been through has actually been something to bring us closer together. Number 4 was life stages. Tell us about life stages.
Many people do not consider their life stages when it comes to a relationship. In some instances, marriage issues occur simply because both spouses have outgrown each other and want more out of life from someone else. Growing apart with time is a common issue among married couples who have a significant age gap.
Oh, okay.
You're older than me.
I am, just a little bit.
I wouldn't say it's significant. Whether it's an older man, younger woman, older woman, younger man. Anyway, personalities change with time. You talked about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Earlier. And sometimes couples don't grow together. That's
why
the
problem.
It's so important to do things with each other. Do things with your spouse. Do things that are fun that you like with your spouse. It doesn't have to be, every weekend I'm going with the guys, you go with the girls. Peace. We'll see you
if
Sunday
you're doing
evening. It's fun.
It's good,
to do that, but go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you need to be able to connect with your wife
together.
and or your husband and do the things together. Doesn't have to be everything,
right?
But it's good in that regard. So, number 3, we kind of been hitting on this throughout the whole thing, which is values and beliefs. So
Equally
obviously,
yoked.
if you got differing values and beliefs, man, that's going to get old quick. And remember, we're going down to the number 1 problem. So values and belief is the number 3 thing. In other words, it's the top 3 problem that couples have. You could see how big that is. So values and beliefs are huge. Get on the same page, man. And for us, we know that is following Jesus and building your life around that. And then number 2.
Yeah, I don't know that these last 2 are the 2 and number 1. I just think they're common ones because I don't think these are the number 1.
Okay.
But hey,
nonetheless.
It's nonetheless. These 2, I think, go hand in hand. Number 2 is sexual differences, and number 1 is infidelity.
Obviously, you cheating, come on.
They're going to lead to some things,
Right.
Physical intimacy is indispensable in a long-term relationship, but it's also the root cause of one of the most common marriage problems of all time, sexual problems. They can occur in a relationship for several reasons, paving the way for subsequently more marriage problems like infidelity. So I think the main thing here, the resounding theme
to
me for marriage, communication is key.
Yes.
Being open is key. And working at it together is key.
That's it.
So.
And from a spiritual perspective, it's understanding that it is a covenant, right? It's a covenant between you and God and you and your spouse. And so you think about those things, and just remember, if you're in a hard season, you might feel like throwing in the towel, but you just don't know what God's got if you just hang on. Like I said, there are biblical grounds and cases for divorce, and those are different topics. But for the most part, I believe that if it's any of the things that were discussed in this article, that there's typically a solution for that, and that happens with time and work, though. So if you're experiencing some of these, as Heather said, think about those communicative aspects, learn how to express yourself. You think just because you're married, you assume that couples know how to connect and talk to each other, but it's not always the case. So find a way to connect to your spouse and, work on those things. Put Jesus in the middle, and I believe that you could have a fruitful, happy, healthy, lovely marriage or relationship.
Right, that's right. We're still working on it, hey.
Got to. You never stop.
Up and down, but you know what? It's the road of life, the road of marriage and relationship.
I'd go to my dad and mom's on Sundays when Dad was still here, and I always found it funny because they would somehow get in a little argument, and then I would always go ding ding, like that was the boxing ring bell, and it was just like, so to see them bicker, and I say that to say, look, you got to work at it your entire life. It's a lifelong process, but knowing that, I don't know, like you said, there's a little bit of comfort in that. So.
Yeah, there is.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us on the Junto podcast. That's right, the Together podcast. And we'll see you next time. Hope you were encouraged. Hope you were blessed. We'll see you next time.